Welcome to this presentation today. I'm really pleased that you decided to join us. It's such a pleasure to be able to present to you today the wonders of the Setouchi region of Japan. I am Gabriela Ribeiro, and I am here on behalf of the team at the Setouchi DMO, and I thank you so much for joining me today. Seto Inland Sea is one of the most prominent multi-island seas in the world. In 1860, the world-famous geographer Ferdinand von Richthofen visited Setouchi and praised the area in so many of his works. He described it as beautiful scenery that stretches across this large area. There cannot be any greater place in the world. This place will be celebrated as one of the most charming in the world and draws many visitors. It has been like this for so long, and I pray that it will continue to do so. It is an incredibly diverse region that appeals to tourists hailing from around the world, a beautiful blend of nature, well-being, art, culinary wonders, and adventure. And together with local resources and on-site providers of unique experiences, they've truly grown this region into a very intriguing destination and a wonderful value proposition when you're considering Japan. So I invite you today to learn more about the Setouchi brand. Okay, so let's begin with the geography. Here you'll find Setouchi. It's located in the western side of Japan, west of Kyoto and Osaka. So it lies upon the largest inland sea in Japan, as I mentioned, and it's a connection of 7 prefectures that face the sea and make up this region. You may recognize some of those names: Hyogo, Okayama, Hiroshima, Yamaguchi, Kagawa, and Ehime. Again, names that may be familiar to you. And it's a very unique archipelago in the sea. So we've got 727 islands ranging from 0.1 kilometer long and beyond. So each carry with it a very isolated, remote, unique feel. So it really plays into that feeling of being away from everything. There are some beautiful iconic bridges, such as the Honshu Shikoku Bridge, which is quite a few times captured in lovely images. It's built over the sea, and from there you can travel between 2 of the larger islands. There's plenty of rail and bus connectivity and public transportation as well. So you can never have to worry about getting from one area to another. So let's talk about how to arrive. The region can be accessed smoothly from larger hub airports, including Tokyo's Narita or Haneda, or Kansai and Osaka. And you can easily travel, as I mentioned, by train once you land in Japan from Tokyo or Osaka to various larger points in Setouchi. And you can even take the bullet train, which runs at a max speed of about 300 kilometers an hour. That's a fun thing to integrate into your journey. And plenty of options, like I said, and whether it's land or water via ferries, you can get to Setouchi quite easily and mix it in with a stay in a larger city. So it's the perfect balance if you want to experience a very unique side of Japan. So one of the strongest allures of Setouchi is its ability to erase time. And it's a region really where life, especially for Japan standards, moves at a very, very different pace. And it is so uniquely different than some of the other top tourist areas in Japan. True bucket list destination in every sense, and something for nearly every type of traveler. So some of the primary niches it caters to are seen right here: island hopping, cycling, art, seafaring, culture, cuisine, wellness, and nature. And we're going to dive into quite a few of those during the presentation. So one of the most bright and attractive experiences in Setouchi is the contrast between the sea and the islands and the water life. Again, over 700 islands to explore. And unlike the open ocean, the waves here are very calm, especially on sunny days. So you can easily cruise around. There are 3 long bridge routes that connect multiple areas together, and they're incredibly photogenic when you're on those bridges to be able to look out and see some of the scenery that surrounds you. It's really wonderful to think about island hopping in a cruiser. It's definitely a must-do, even for just one day, if you want to experience some of the islands up close. So there are so many options, from a privately chartered boat and a more compact cruising tour with routes of varying lengths and no shortage of route to take, really. And there's even something very special you may have heard of, the floating hotel that you can see here called the Guntu, where guests board and set upon a light sail through the waters, and it's exceptionally unique and quite upscale. Book in advance. And for the day cruisers, there are plenty of luxe catamarans and yachts that could be taken for a few hours, and you can chart your course. This happens to be the Bali catamaran from the Setouchi Yacht Charter Company, just as an example. So we can connect you with those partners as well. I truly personally love cycling. I'm completely not a professional, but the great thing here is if you enjoy cycling, it just lends itself to the most beautiful experiences, regardless of your ability and fitness level, for various reasons. So you've got the famed Shimanami Kaido, which many people know, especially cyclists. It's a wonderful route that stretches along the sea for about 70 kilometers through 6 islands. So the entire course has its own dedicated cycling route, keeping you safe and up close to the beautiful scenery. But you can opt to customize your journey. If you're not up for the 70 kilometers, that's fine. If you just wanted to do 10, totally fine at all. And the reason why you can do that is because you can customize it with support. So you can either book a support car, which we recommend to meet you at a particular place. So you can just end and terminate, and the car will be outfitted with bike racks, and to be able to take you and your bikes back to where you started. Or there's something called the bike boat, which is one of the area's more unique modes of transportation, and it's specifically outfitted to store a bike, and it allows you relaxing passage back to your point of origin. So it connects the islands that the Shimanami Kaido runs through, so there's no stress at all. So you can always get back to where you embarked upon. So very, very easy. Now, you cannot talk about Setouchi without mentioning its food. It's got a savory, special culinary scene, and whereas so much of Japan is focused on more modern dining experiences, Setouchi is a celebration of the ancient traditions that lie at the core of their cuisine. So no matter where you turn, there's a celebration of unique products, from fresh oysters to fabulous cuts of meat, exceptional citrus fruits to udon noodles, and plenty of local brews of beer and sake. So if you love sake in particular, Saijo in Hiroshima is king. So it's got 7 breweries in a 1-kilometer walk from one another, where you can discover the art of sake making and all of the unique flavors and elements that go into different blends. As far as festivals go, there's the Shikoku Sake Festival in Tokushima and Hiroshima Sake Festival, which we hope will be on the books again as of next year. So you likely have heard of Kobe beef. Hopefully, if you're lucky, you've tasted it. And it's one of the most renowned in the world, which comes from northern Yamaguchi, which is home to a hybrid cow that produces these exquisite, very sought after cuts of meat. And it's always beautiful to add to them a gorgeous oyster appetizer before the main course. And the tidal current near Hiroshima makes the waters that surround it an ideal place for oysters to flourish. So when you take a visit to a traditional little oyster hut, you can stand on the land and see the oysters being pulled from the sea during the early morning hours, and then they're brought to the shore by the fishermen, who grill them over charcoal right in front of you and give you a sampling on an all-you-can-eat basis. So that sounds delicious. When you stay in an authentic lodge or ryokan, small homestay, it really opens you up to unique hands-on cooking experiences. A lot of these places have a chef, a local traditional chef, preparing dishes in some cases that are centuries old. So some will include the famed pufferfish, which people sometimes get afraid of, but there's really no reason to worry if you have it prepared by an expert, along with a variety of dishes that integrate some of its endemic fruit from the region. You can actually do some fruit picking, which is a lot of fun. You can try your hand at muscat and peony grapes, white peaches, and sample as much as you like upon the spot. So fruit picking is available from July to October. And if you like udon, this is great. In Kagawa is the udon capital of the world, if you can imagine. It's got the highest concentration of udon shops per square kilometer in Japan, and it's a hearty comfort food. It's noodles that have a ton of varieties. So what you can do, this gentleman you see here runs what is known as an udon taxi. So that is, you heard me right, special guides and special vehicles, and these guides are specially trained in the art of udon and know all of the small haunts that tourists never get to see and that are never ever written up in any sort of guide or blog. So you can board with them, and they'll take you to as many as you can handle, so you can try some of the best. So now more than ever, people are really craving physical and spiritual healing, and Setouchi is really a haven for relaxation. It's got many, many onsens or hot springs, which are places to bathe that are fueled by volcanic activity, and they are filled with soothing waters, which are rich with minerals and curative properties. So some are best for skin beautifying qualities. Some are said to heal joint problems or breathing problems, any manner. The list goes on. But regardless, it's a very soothing bath of sparkling, fresh, clean water. There's a whole process of how to enter an onsen and how to properly bathe in one, which we can go through for sure offline. And clean water is generally framed by really impossible possibly gorgeous views and backgrounds. So it's just absolute, being in the middle of nature, bathing in these waters that are said to heal. And it's just a very, very unique restorative experience. And now, incredibly significant here for the region, which you should remember, even more so for cultural enthusiasts and fans of the arts, the Setouchi Chinese, which is an international contemporary art festival, launched in 2010, and they are bringing it back. It is going to come back in 2022. It has been recurring every 3 years, and we are up for the next year, and it has been officially announced. So this is very, very exciting. So when you visit, it's not only making friends with local islanders, meeting artists from around the world that come and unite and create their specific works that complement the natural surroundings, and it's a really beautiful way to celebrate the local culture and history. So as I mentioned, the events are held every 3 years. Next will be in 2022 with a fruitful list of plentiful exhibitions, and it will give travelers the full opportunity to experience diverse and unique works of art. And what's wonderful is that a lot of these installations that you see here and that you just saw before are built, specifically for the festival, and then they stay up. So no matter when you're visiting, whether it's during the festival or not, you're still able to really catch a glimpse of some of the most beautiful things, in the works of art that were planted in Setouchi. So always like walking through a living art museum nearly any time that you go. So you've got to pair all of this with hotels, and it's always wonderful to integrate a more authentic style of accommodation that gives you a really true sense of place, gets you away from it all in those wide open spaces that people are really seeking so much today. So you can choose maybe to stay in a kominka or a traditional Japanese villa, and that gives you a feeling of a homestay. Kozako Mori opened this year in Hiroshima, for example. It's a spacious 100-year-old home that now serves as a base for travelers where you really can connect with nature through a surrounding hidden forest and really just kind of pitch up, work, relax, read, drink sake, sit over the fire and just really reflect. Or how about a private deserted island? We have, Kakirajima, which means whale island due to its silhouette resembling a whale. And this is a nickname that's stuck with locals for a long time, and it's a private island. Only one group per day can visit, thus making it a truly exclusive experience for you and yours. And it's a wonderful option right now with the wide open space opportunity. It's equipped with a full cottage, so you can stay overnight, spacious area outside for camping under the stars. And it really is just in the middle of nowhere, so the skies are exquisite in the evening. You've got, a barbecue set up, so you can invite a private chef to come in and do a dinner. Pretty much all your creature comforts as well, and accessible in and out through a privately booked boat. So lovely. It's got its little beach area too. Just perfect, especially for families. Or you can choose to stay in a castle, and we've got the Osu Castle Town Hotel, which is interesting. It's a significant historical site, which now serves as a hotel. So here, guests can really appreciate the carefully restored architecture, as well as the atmosphere and the grandeur that surrounded the Japanese people during this Edo period. It's just a phenomenal, very important cultural property. And what they do is really kind of bring experiences into the fold. You see the gentleman on the right on the horses, and they have processions and special ceremonies that are reflective of what might have happened in centuries past. And then on the other side of the spectrum, we've got a completely spectacular collection of ultra sleek contemporary design hotels, each with their own style, such as the Setouchi Aonagi, which is a 7-suite stunner filled with world-class art, done up by a renowned architect, or the Lamani, which evokes a feeling of being in the Mediterranean, yet highlighted with local Asian touches. Many to choose from, and sometimes it's best when you're looking at an itinerary to integrate something more traditional and something more stylish, just to sort of get the feel on both ends of the spectrum. Cultural opportunities abound here as well. So whether it's a stroll through an acclaimed garden that's impossibly manicured, or a jaunt out to the countryside to view the foliage, staying in a home or staying in a traditional villa, as I mentioned, or just really appreciating the nature, strolling paths, gardens, the smells, the cherry blossoms, the high bridges. Really, it's a great place to connect with nature, but also there's some really spectacular architecture that still stands today and looks as beautiful and as healthy and as restored as it once did centuries ago. So it really is a lovely place to think about strolling through as well. So how does one put all of this together? There are a ton of options. We've got some excellent food for thought and some logistics on, suggested itineraries that you can easily integrate into any stay in Japan. We've got millions, really, well, maybe not millions, but we've got at least hundreds of different modules. So we've got 2-night, 3-night, 4-night, all the way up. Many opportunities and sort of through lines here that connect some of the places. So regardless of interest and time frame, there's always a fun way to experience the best of the best depending on your travel style. I'm a quick traveler. Some people like to extend and take their time. So again, it really depends. So for instance, if you want to get a taste of the artistic and cultural highlights, you can consider infusing places like the Himeji Castle, which I mentioned before, one of the famed onsens, the Dogo Onsen. You can see Setouchi from the air with a scenic seaplane flight, which is a lot of fun. Put a bit of biking in there and perhaps a spiritual visit to a temple or a shrine if you're on the brief side. And then if you've got a little bit longer, you can infuse some natural wonders such as the whirlpools. You can do the Iya Valley, which is really, really great for photography and trekking and hiking. If you have a little bit more time, you can sort of stretch it out, maybe infuse some culinary opportunities in there, some tastings. We'd really recommend that too. But really, wherever you're hopping, whichever island, whichever area, there's something truly different. I mean, there's a feeling that connects all of it. And sort of a sentiment, a cultural, just a feeling, I suppose. But really, we encourage you, try the food, meet the locals, wander into shops and really kind of soak it all up. And most importantly, take note of the art and architecture, a lot of the stuff that's there, that has left there and remained over time, because it really is it's like walking through a living museum of the past. So we're also pleased to share with you that the Setouchi DMO offers a very comprehensive agent training program. So this is there to help you sharpen your expertise. It's really a treasure trove of wonderful information. We highly recommend having a look, as well as the Setouchi Finder site. It's fully integrated, and it's got wonderful modules. It's got excellent articles by every type of niche, beautiful content, a media gallery, many options of experiences and descriptions that you can download easily to use for your marketing as well as videos. So we do highly recommend it as well. So thank you so much for your time. This was a very express trip, but it is an exquisite region, so much to dive into, and we've only just scratched the surface here today. But I truly hope that we've inspired you to look deeper into Setouchi, the authentic side of Japan, and we are available to you at any time for further info, assistance with comprehensive itineraries, quotations, marketing materials, and beyond. You can reach us at info@truemarketing.com. Thank you so much.